from the station working for you. This is WRTV News at 11, streaming now.
Good evening, and thank you so much for staying up late with us tonight. I'm Nicole Griffin. Another violent weekend in Indianapolis. 8 people shot, with 3 killed early this morning, and another homicide happened just a short time ago. This is video from the 3000 block of Forest Manor Avenue on the east side. Investigators found an adult male dead at the scene. A woman at that location suffered a gunshot in the arm. Police believe she was an innocent bystander. We are working to learn more about a suspect or possible motive. This is the 4th person shot to death in Indianapolis in less than 24 hours. The other 3 victims all died at the same scene. 27-year-old James Upshaw, 32-year-old Juan Riviera, and 33-year-old Shayna Jones were shot to death in the parking lot of the club, the Grand Nightclub, in the 5400 block of Mass Ave. The shooting happened around 2:30 this morning. The bar was open for business at the time, but we do not know if the shooting stemmed from something that happened inside the building. IPS students will return to the classroom tomorrow for the first time since the pandemic started last school year. Up until this point, students have been learning virtually. WRTV's Troy Washington spoke with a parent who is getting her students ready for the return.
I think that it will be good for them, both mentally and academically, to get back into the classroom, get back into schools, have some sort of structure.
Christina Smith is a parent getting her scholars ready for a first day like no other.
I'm really, really excited and happy for kids to be back in the classroom.
It won't be the first day of school for Indianapolis public schools, but it is the first day back in the classroom for pre-K through 3rd grade. And next week, grades 4 through 12 will return too.
I think that we all know, and especially teachers know, that kids tend to learn better when they're in the classroom.
For this parent, it's about getting back to a sense of normalcy.
They're excited to go back and be in the classroom and see their teachers and see their friends, see their acquaintances. I think one of my kids said the other day that they're excited to go back and even see the kids that they don't necessarily get along with. Like, they're just excited to go back and see everybody.
Though Smith is ready for tomorrow and all that brings, she's glad IPS didn't rush to bring students back to the classroom too soon.
I think that the district has done a good job in following the science.
But she's also glad the district isn't forcing families with unique situations to return to the classroom if continuing distance learning is a better fit for them.
I appreciate that the district didn't just say, nope, we're all going to go back and this is how it's going to be. And I also appreciate that we are giving parents the option.
Working for you, Troy Washington, WRTV.
Troy, thank you. We have more details for IPS families and staff with school-related questions about COVID-19 right now in this story on WRTV.com. Also, students will be given a free face mask and they will be expected to wear it throughout the school day. New developments. Doctors say President Trump could be released from the hospital as early as tomorrow. And tonight he made a surprise visit to supporters outside Walter Reed, where he is being treated for COVID-19. The president was seen waving to supporters who've been gathered there since he was admitted on Friday. The president then went back to the hospital to continue treatment. Sources tell ABC News President Trump had already tested positive with a rapid test before phoning into Sean Hannity's show on Fox News Thursday evening. At that time, he only revealed that top aide Hope Hicks had contracted the virus. Meanwhile, there have been mixed messages about the president's condition. Saturday, his leading physician, Dr. Sean Conley, appeared to dodge questions over whether the president received any supplemental oxygen. Today, he said this.
The president has experienced 2 episodes of transient drops in his oxygen saturation. I recommended the president we try some supplemental oxygen. Stayed on that for about an hour.
Dr. Conley says that happened Friday, but when asked if the president was also on oxygen Saturday, he couldn't seem to recall. And when the doctor was pressed about other discrepancies, he said he was trying to reflect an upbeat attitude and was not trying to hide anything. Tonight, as President Trump continues treatment for COVID-19, we are learning more about one of the medications he is receiving called Regeneron. Our Rafael Sanchez spoke with a doctor at a local hospital that has patients going through a Regeneron trial.
The president, as part of his COVID-19 treatment, received Regeneron. Ascension St. Vincent is the only hospital in Indiana participating in that trial. Is this a viable treatment against COVID-19?
Well, it sure looks like it has the potential to be. As with any trial, we don't have a lot of the data that we always want. But one thing we do know is that it's slowly trickling out of Regeneron. It seems to have some validity. And as you may have noted, about 2 days ago, they released a press release showing that when they looked at people that had asymptomatic or mild illness and received their particular antibody, they were able to drop the actual viral load by over 90%. That would correlate well with hopeful recovery that is faster with less symptomatology. Hopefully, as we get a little further into the trial with an interim analysis, we'll be able to get some more concrete information.
Doctor, what is Regeneron? Is it a pill? Is it a shot? Is it a juice? What is it?
So it's actually a monoclonal antibody, which is not really a new science product. I mean, we've been using monoclonal antibodies for a very long time in medicine. This particular product is an antibody which identifies a piece of the virus that is very specific. And it's felt that that piece of the virus is required for that virus to cause problems. So we infuse this particular product over about an hour, and it then hopefully finds the virus, binds to it, and then neutralizes. That's why you hear the term neutralizing antibody.
What is the timeline then for Regeneron? What are we looking at? Are we still weeks, months, or years from this becoming sort of an official treatment?
Yeah, so that's an incredibly important question, and I think we can use a little bit of remdesivir precedent to answer that. I think as we go through trials, we have interim analysis, and Regeneron is no different. If the data looks fantastic, you may have accelerated access, and by that I mean expanded authorization to use it outside of a clinical trial, exactly what happened with remdesivir.
What's your message to the public who's saying we want something as soon as possible?
Boy, I think all of us want something as soon as possible. It's been a pretty long haul. Everybody has to kind of roll with the punches. Everybody handles it a little bit differently. The one thing that I think is essentially unwavering among the medical community and infectious disease doctors specifically is masks matter and distance matters. So at the very least, protect yourself and others by wearing a mask and practice social distancing.
Doctor, thank you for your time, and thank you for joining us here on WRTV.
Absolutely. Thanks so much.
Raphael, thank you. Ascension St. Vincent, as of this afternoon, now has 15 people enrolled in the trial who are having good outcomes so far. The Indianapolis Public Library Wayne branch will reopen tomorrow after shutting down for a COVID-19 deep cleaning. This after a staff member tested positive for the virus. Officials were notified Friday. They closed the branch and immediately began contact tracing protocols. Other staff members were found to have been in close contact with that infected worker. They are now under self-quarantine. New at 11 o'clock with Marion County easing some restrictions. Live music is returning to restaurants and bars across the area. Tonight we visited Binkley's Kitchen and Bar on North College Avenue. After the Colts win, the band Touch of Grass played out on the patio. We talked with both the manager and a member of the band about the importance of finally being able to have live music again during the pandemic.
We miss helping out the people that we help out. I mean, there's a reason that we do this. We've been doing it a long time, and we want to. The whole idea is to bring value to places. If any musician that you talk to, they're passionate about making sure that the places that they play obviously benefit, and this is why we're here.
Hopefully, everybody enjoys coming back out and listening to some live music. We just haven't had any around here, so. And we're excited. I mean, it's time. You know, we're moving forward. And I think we're just ready.
The Marion County Public Health Department requires venues that bring back live music to have a buffer of 10 feet between the crowd and the performers. Tonight, a nurse who works in the emergency department at a local hospital is being credited not just for the work he's doing to save lives during the pandemic, but also for saving the life of a man while at a bar in Brownsburg. Corey Pereira, who works for Community Health Network, says a man at the bar collapsed, stopped breathing, and had no pulse. That is when Corey's training kicked in and he started chest compressions, and the man eventually responded.
About 2 rounds of compressions in, the guy started responding. He was vomiting. I flipped him on his side, and then he became responsive. And he knew his name, knew where he was, knew his birthday. Just doing my job, doing what I know to do. You can just keep the heart going. Yeah, keep the heart going, and hope that they respond. And fortunately, he responded to just the hands only.
A spokeswoman with the hospital says they did not hear about what happened from Corey. An IU East Division police chief was at the bar and sent a letter of recognition to Corey's bosses at Community Hospital East. The spokeswoman says this story is a good reminder that everyone should learn hands-only CPR because in this case, it saves someone's life. Now to your forecast, meteorologist Kyle Mounce is standing by. And Kyle, those temperatures behind you, a little chilly.
Yeah, they are tumbling quickly, Nicole. We had our coolest afternoon in about 5 months. Only 56 for that afternoon high. And now the temperature's already falling into the 30s here across the western third of the state. It's 38 for you in Greencastle and Bloomington already, 39 in Thorntown and Sullivan, 43 in Indy and the Richmond area. As we go into the overnight, we're going to find many locations here, lower to middle 30s, even around 30 degrees in Terre Haute, a low of 37 in Indianapolis. So we do have that frost advisory just northwest of Indy, although I think most locations do have some of that patchy frost in the forecast. We will detail a quick warm-up in just a few minutes.
Kyle, thank you. The president's COVID-19 diagnosis is shaking up the presidential campaign for both sides of the race. Up next, how the candidates might have to get creative in the final weeks. President Trump's COVID-19 diagnosis upending the strategy of both the Trump and the Biden campaigns. President Trump won't be attending his signature in-person rallies, and Joe Biden's campaign is promising transparency with Biden's COVID-19 test results. Here's ABC's Andrew Dimbert with the details.
President Trump's coronavirus diagnosis has dramatically upended the strategy for both campaigns with just 30 days until the election. Large in-person rallies with the president have been put on hold for now, but his campaign launching a Trump re-election bus tour this weekend as scheduled, with top surrogates gathering indoors, few wearing masks. A new ABC News Ipsos poll shows nearly 3 out of 4 Americans say the president didn't take the risk of getting COVID seriously enough and didn't take the appropriate precautions when it came to his personal health. His campaign pushing back.
We take it very seriously. It's why we give everyone coming to rallies or to events, we give them a mask. We check their temperature.
Joe Biden's campaign has pulled negative ads about the president following news of his COVID diagnosis. In a new statement, his campaign promising to release the results of every COVID-19 test Biden takes, saying the former vice president has led by example.
The coronavirus has overtaken every corner of American life. It has made it so that we cannot send our kids to school. It's shuttering our small businesses. It's keeping us from being able to see our families and our friends. Americans are worried. They look to Joe Biden, they see leadership.
It's now unclear if the second presidential debate, a town hall format set for October 15th in Miami, will go on as planned. But the candidates' running mates are gearing up for their own debate Wednesday night. Sources tell ABC News Senator Kamala Harris and Vice President Mike Pence will sit 12 feet apart after the Biden campaign requested more space during their debate. Andrew Dimbert, ABC News, Washington, D.C.
Andrew, thank you. Attorney General William Barr is going into self-quarantine after all, at least for now. The Department of Justice says he's tested negative for COVID-19 4 times and is likely to return to work later this week. Barr originally declined to self-quarantine. That's even though he came into close contact with former White House counselor Kellyanne Conway last weekend in the Rose Garden. Conway has tested positive for the coronavirus. The Marion County Public Health Department's next flu shot clinic is this Wednesday. It goes from 9 to noon at Old Bethel Church on East 21st Street on the far east side of Indianapolis. You do not need an appointment. Masks are required. A reminder, health experts say getting a flu shot is even more important this year to help avoid the possibility of hospitals getting overwhelmed with flu and COVID patients. Flu shots through the health department are $20. Children younger than 2 years old get vaccinated for free. Medicare and Medicaid are accepted. Developing tonight, the future of Regal movie theaters is uncertain after its owner, Cineworld, announced it's considering a temporary closure of all of its movie theaters in Britain and the U.S. There are at least 6 Regal locations in central Indiana, including 2 right here in Indianapolis, 1 in Greenwood, Westfield, Noblesville, and Avon. The announcement comes after the postponement of the new James Bond film that left a big hole in theater schedules. No Time to Die was delayed from November until April of 2021 because of the effect of the coronavirus pandemic. Cineworld Group owns 543 Regal theaters across the country. Kyle.
Well, we've got some cool air, but I want to show you this map because you can see we're kind of in the thick of it. There are some warmer temperatures off to the west, so it's going to be a pretty quick hit, and then we will warm things up. Tonight, though, not very warm. Going to need that heat and probably the blanket on the bed. We got a temperature of 43 in the city. It's 42 in Kokomo, but already in the 30s with those clear skies and calm wind in the Bloomington area. So for the city, 37 for that overnight number, but I do think we will have some locations that will be dropping down into the lower half of the 30s, especially over the northwestern half of the state with those clear skies in place. We take you to TrueCast tomorrow morning. Just a couple of clouds around Richmond toward Muncie, Newcastle. But we are going to see the return of the sunshine tomorrow. It was a very cloudy day today, and some of us had some rainfall, but a lot of locations picked up very little in the rain gauge itself. Lafayette, kind of the big winner with about 1/3 of an inch of rain. Tomorrow, back to dry conditions here. We've got sunshine. Temperatures are going to stay chilly, though, right on through the morning hours. We do start to get back into the lower 50s just ahead of the lunchtime, and we'll get into the lower 60s for that afternoon high with mostly sunny skies. So you'll need the jacket, but also those sunglasses with a high of 64 in Columbus, 63 for you in Lafayette. Average high right around 70 degrees, so we're getting there, and we are going to be warming up even more as we go through the forecast here. Look at this, even above average, 72 degrees by Tuesday, as we're going to keep a lot of sunshine in the forecast, and our winds are going to turn out of the south and southwest. Could be a little breezy going into Tuesday afternoon. And by Wednesday, even approaching the 80-degree mark here. Slight bump down in those temperatures by Thursday at 70. I'll look at the 7-day planning forecast for you, and there are some cool mornings, but that warming trend throughout the afternoon, even as we go toward Friday, 72 degrees for that afternoon high, and next weekend should be a lot more almost summer-like rather than fall-like, as we will be approaching 80 both Saturday and Sunday with partly cloudy skies. Those lows are back in the 50s, so while you need the jacket early in the week, maybe the shorts by the end of the week. But it is all with a dry stretch of weather. We need some rainfall, and what you can see here as we look ahead, we look a little closer into the middle of October, and we do get the above average trend for some rainfall. It looks like that will likely come Tuesday of next week. Nicole.
All right, Kyle, thank you so much. No crowd, no problem, especially on the road for the Colts. Coming up, a 3rd straight win, but they had to grind out against the Bears. See how the Colts got it done straight ahead. The Colts wrapped up the first month of the season with another strong effort this afternoon. The Bears were undefeated coming in, but the Colts took care of that as well. Brad Brown shows us how the defense was the story in the Week 4 win.
A very nice day in Chicago. No one inside Soldier Field to see it, and that lack of a home crowd may have helped the Colts early. Indy's first drive of the game saw them march right down the field. Phillip Rivers found Mo Alley Cox for the first touchdown. Second straight game, that pair connected for a score. The Colts defense had another strong showing in the first half. They held the Bears to just 1 of 6 on 3rd down conversions. Chicago was only able to manage 17 rushing yards.
Our job is to stop the run, so you make a team one-dimensional and have to beat you throwing the ball. That's tough on them. So we feel that we were able to stop the run and allow the D-lines to eat on 3rd down. And, we feel like we have the cover guys to get the job done. We'll be successful.
But the Colts offense continued to struggle in the red zone. A pair of drives in the second quarter made it inside the 15-yard line, but Rivers nearly got intercepted on one of those. The run game got stuffed in the middle on another. Indy settled for a pair of field goals, took a 13-3 lead to the locker room.
I kind of felt like it was going to be a little bit of a grinder coming into this week. I didn't think it was going to be, just smooth sailing. Obviously, we scored that first drive, but there's a lot to clean up. But I think that's okay. I think good teams, you can leave a game where you won. And the defense, again, was unbelievable.
The Colts D continued to set the tone of the game in the second half. Pressure coming from a bunch of angles. Chicago unable to run the ball at all. And in the fourth quarter, a big play by rookie Julian Blackmon. The Bears were in position to get some points, but Blackmon gets his first interception of the season.
I love playing for this defense. Like you said, the first thing that was key is we knew we had to stop the run. Once you get momentum in the run, then you kind of open the pass game up. But once we made them one-dimensional, it made it a lot easier for us to, be in good positions to make pass breakups. And, our guys did a really good job rushing the quarterback and getting them to throw the ball where we really wanted them to throw. And, we just had to make plays on the ball.
Indy followed that up with a 7-minute drive to grind the clock down. Jonathan Taylor picked up yards on a 4th-and-1 run to stretch it out. Rodrigo Blankenship's 4th field goal of the day pretty much put the game away. The Bears managed a late touchdown to cut the margin, but the Colts recovered a final onside kick and were able to run it out. 3 wins in a row now. It certainly wasn't the prettiest, but a hard-fought 19-11 result to get it done.
We're going to line up. We know what we're going to get. And it's just a matter of, who's going to punch who in the mouth harder. I mean, that's just what it is. But, I mean, a great defensive line over there, for Chicago. And, tough sledding today. But those are the things that you live for. It's going to be a 4-quarter game.
But, they're buying in. They're playing for each other. They're playing smart. I mean, we're playing smart football. We're not just playing tough football. So that's a big part of it, and being smart in situations. And that being said, we still got to find ways to get better.
The Colts defense leads the league in several major categories. Today they gave up just 28 yards on the ground and got stops on 10 of 14 third downs. In the last 12 quarters, the Colts have given up only 3 touchdowns and 2 field goals. Anthony Walker led the effort on Sunday with 11 tackles. Next Sunday, the Colts go to Cleveland. The Browns had a wild one in Dallas, watched a 27-point lead shrivel down to just 3, but Odell Beckham Jr.'s 3rd touchdown of the game sealed up a 49-38 win for Cleveland. The Browns and Colts will both have 3-1 records for that Week 5 matchup. Brad Brown, WRTV Sports.
Mattel is releasing a Susan B. Anthony doll as part of its Inspiring Women line. The feminist Barbie officially launches tomorrow, but the Anthony Museum says it already has some in its gift shop. The museum says it worked with Mattel on the doll and that the toy is supposed to celebrate Anthony's 200th birthday. It also marks a century since the 19th Amendment gave women in the U.S. the right to vote. Anthony was one of the nation's best-known abolitionists and suffragists, although she died 14 years before women won voting rights. NASA wants your help to find new planets. The agency launched a website called Planet Patrol. That's where the public can sort through images collected by NASA's survey satellite called TESS. TESS captures hundreds of thousands of images every year, and it's too many for astronomers to examine. Volunteers will answer questionnaires, and they will look through the images to help researchers narrow down the list of potential planets. Kyle.
The answers are out there. All right, well, the sun will come out tomorrow. That's the answer in our forecast. 63 degrees after that chilly start, in the 30s, but it's up and away from there. We've got highs in the 70s through the rest of that extended forecast. It also comes with a lot of sunshine, and in fact, by Wednesday, high temperatures approaching the 80-degree mark, and we'll do that again next weekend. So this weekend, maybe you took some time indoors. Next weekend looks pretty good for your outdoor activities.
All right, looking forward to it. Thank you, Kyle, and thank you so much for joining us. Good Morning Indiana starts at 4:30. Have a great night.